Hello and welcome back to the Pit Wall Podcast. This week we're going to be breaking down what happened in Baku, and which honestly there's not much to talk about this time. It was a pretty simple race, but we do have a little bit.
Yeah, and mostly what I'm going to talk about is complaining about the format.
Yeah,
So I'm actually going to dedicate my quali and 60 time to that because there's two qualifying, so I don't know which
Yep.
to do. I will say I apologize to the video watchers, whoever you are, that you're just watching a screen right now. I'm currently in Miami/Palm Beach. Because as of right now, tomorrow I start going to the Miami Grand Prix, and I'm very excited. It's like really hype. I was watching weekend warm up just before this, and during dinner, some of my family was watching during dinner.
I'm so excited for you, man. I know it's going to be awesome.
Dude, I'm geeking out. I can't take any camera stuff. Like I can't take any GoPro, like nothing. So that sucks. But I'm gonna be recording a lot on my phone. So anyway,
Good.
let's talk about some news really fast. The thing I want to start with is let's talk about this movie that I texted you about.
Yeah.
So the
Cool.
news
I'm gonna pull
broke
this up
today,
again.
and I've heard some pieces about this from some unnamed sources. And now it's official that there is a Formula One movie coming out, being directed by Joseph Krasinski. That he's the director of Top Gun Maverick, and he pioneered all this camera technology to make it work so that they could put him in the planes. Well, now they've done one better, and they've worked with Mercedes to build an 11th F1 car, an 11th team to start driving in the events. They haven't specified what events, but from Silverstone on through the whole rest of the season. And Brad Pitt himself is going to be driving the car. I mean, can it get any better? I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just don't know how they're going to pull it off. They're obviously not going to be able to do it during a race. I doubt they would do it during qualifying.
Get some practice
Like,
sessions.
yeah, it's only practice I could think of, and I don't know if
How
they're maybe.
how
I
funny
wonder.
would it
Do you
be?
think that? Well, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, how funny would it be if he's setting better times than like Haas or somebody?
If Brad Pitt goes faster than someone on the grid, there's a problem.
King
Now,
material.
listen, if you
Anyway,
said Tom Cruise, I'd believe it, but
he said he might drive some too for just some shots because he's probably a better
oh,
driver.
okay.
Well, not dissing Brad Pitt, but Tom Cruise is an insane man.
Tom
with
Cruise has a
stunts and
history
crap.
of also racing, or not racing, driving F1 cars.
Yeah,
Drove
yeah,
them a few times.
yeah. So what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited? Like, I mean,
I'm very excited, because I mean we've already got great F1 movies, but
this is gonna be the best one.
I don't know. In this one, we're gonna be seeing drivers that we root for in a movie.
I know. I
racing.
know.
That's the cool part, because of course we have actors that do their jobs well, but this is real. They're
Dude.
they're recording real racing, and that's so cool.
What if let's just throw it out there. What if they do go during a race? Because what they did is they put a 6K camera in it, right? So
Yeah.
what
I have
if
no clue. I don't know how that would. I mean, you'd have to get a reserve driver to race. I feel like
yeah, probably
in that
probably.
car,
But
just
that
because they're not putting Brad Pitt in a race.
I don't know. He might do it. He might do
I
it.
don't
What is
know, man.
Listen, he's already had his whole great career, so he could
let's just
you know
let's just put him into a wall in freaking Silverstone or something.
just like Max.
Dude, what if that does happen? They build a car, got this
it
mega
crashes?
camera in it, and it crashes.
Well, see, that's the thing. They said it's pretty small. So they even said they put a 6K camera in it. So that to me says Komodo. So they put
Yeah.
This is camera nerd. That's a red Komodo for those of you who aren't a camera person. Which is my favorite camera probably on planet Earth. Anyway, I'm very excited. This is just the craziest thing that they would actually confirm it and talk about it in a press conference. That they're gonna have an 11th team. I wonder what the team's gonna be called, what they're gonna call themselves.
Yeah, I have no
what
clue.
the livery is gonna be. Livery reveal. It's the whole season starting again.
Yeah.
And the best part is it's gonna be a Mercedes that has side pods. That's what they said. It's gonna have side pods, which I think is funny.
No, imagine it goes faster than the
could.
actual Mercedes.
If it makes the weight, I don't see why it could. That'd be so funny.
Toto's calling for that side pod change immediately.
That's their B concept the whole time. They've had this whole plan.
Yes, exactly. Their B concept was the movie car. They pull the movie car into pit when Hamilton does, and they just swap drivers.
It's just Lewis has actually been driving the whole. He takes the helmet off. What?
Exactly.
Lewis is like, all right, you won't build me a fast car. I'll go out there and build one myself.
And the movie car wins the Silverstone Grand Prix.
The British fans would lose their minds. Like the outrage. The people that have been watching F1 and it's for its entire history, like they're like 90 years old. I want Lewis to win. Oh man. Anyway, that's enough about that. We can move on. So this is our first sprint race weekend, and
yep.
Dawson, I already did a little mini podcast about this. How do you feel about this sprint race? Give me your thoughts. How do you feel about this format compared to the old one?
I don't know if I don't like it. I just don't.
Yeah.
I like, I don't know. Compared to watching last year's, this was just kind of all over the place, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it felt a lot more organized, and it just felt better last year. With like, especially like the shootout, then the sprint. It's and weird. We also have another qualifying, like you said, 2 qualifyings for one weekend, which, I mean, I think they should just keep it to where the sprint holds the starting grid.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think ideally,
like, at that point, like, I get like the sprint's like for some extra points, but like, just keep it how it is then. Like the starting grid, it was so much better last year, in my opinion, at least. But
so I proposed an alternative that I think is closer, because I think the teams don't like it. I don't think the teams like, because it puts a lot of people at risk. The teams do not like the old format. So here's my alternative format. Tell me what you think. I also think practice isn't long enough with just one thing to get the car set up correct. So I think they should do an extended FP1 on Friday. So they do it. So when they do tire tests, it's an extra 30 minutes, which is essentially a session and a half. That's what I think they should do. So a longer FP1. And if there's a red flag, it puts a pause in it. Not, because, if there's a red flag in practice, the timer keeps going.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Then you have qualifying for the sprint race that night. So that day. So that's the second session of Friday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then you have the sprint race and I'll call it sprint shootout. We have sprint shootout on Friday. Then Saturday it starts with the sprint race. And then Saturday ends with qualifying for the Grand Prix. So that way everybody's happy. The qualifying's at the end.
Yeah. See, that's like, I think that's the main reason I don't like it, is because you have qualifying for the race on Friday.
Yeah, it's
for the Grand Prix race on Friday, and then it's a full day before you're actually racing.
And I think you should be able to, and then another benefit is after the sprint race, you can come back out of Parc Ferme before qualifying and make changes to your car before you're in quali spec for the race. Does that make sense?
That'd be good. Yeah, I like that.
So that essentially then the race will act as another practice session for you if you need it to be. So that way you can have a great Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think if it's all like how you have it, where it's all at least like efficient.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have everything's in order basically. There's not like a qualifying for the race. You wait a whole day and a half, then there's the real race. Everything is sprint qualifying for race, then race. I think that's how it should be. I think that's how they should have done it for this past weekend. So I think that's actually really good.
I get what they were thinking. They were thinking, oh, Saturday will be its own thing. It's like its own event. You can come to Saturday and see everything. I just don't think practically that works. And also something I was surprised to hear is that they said that average viewership went up only 35% from what a normal practice 3 session is to the sprint shootout. So that the sprint shootout took place, which I found surprising because I personally, as an F1 fan, watch FP3 almost never because nothing ever happens. They do all this stuff in FP2. And
Yeah.
well, they're only calling it P2 now, but whatever, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As an F1 fan, I would think it would have been up like 80%. So I think that
Mhm.
that is also a problem. And then the final problem is that in the sprint shootout, they required certain tires. And I didn't even know this till
Oh
I started
yeah.
watching. I didn't know it. I had no idea.
Everybody had to be on the same.
Yeah, so you had to
Right.
use fresh set of mediums,
Mhm.
and then softs.
Yep.
And they screwed Lando Norris up so bad they didn't save him an extra new set of softs. He couldn't even
Oh yeah.
participate. And Piastri was
It's
P11.
bad.
So if they had let Piastri go faster than Norris, he could have been in the top 10 shootout and possibly gotten all the way up to P5. But no.
Yep.
So
Man, it's rough. I also like we talked how you had mentioned a little bit ago. I saw a lot of complaints from the actual teams, racers. I don't think anybody likes this format within the grid.
oh, and in the sprint shootout, Logan Sargent crashes. Boom, he can't drive during the
Hmm.
sprint race. Like,
Exactly.
ugh. It's just an issue. So
And
I'm
that's
so
what
happy.
yeah, that's another like they don't have time to fix stuff, I feel like, at least to a great extent that they need. Like I think what it was this weekend, right? Gasly's car caught on fire.
Yeah. Oh,
Practice.
Gasly
Yeah.
had a horrible weekend.
Yeah. So that was rough.
Well, anyway, let's talk through the sprint really fast. Tell me about Max and Checo's race. Let's just breeze through the sprint as fast as we can.
Yeah. Checo won the sprint, which was awesome. I kind of had a feeling this weekend was just going to be his to take.
Yeah.
And Verstappen came in third actually. So wasn't a 1-2 for Red Bull in the sprint, but both good races in my opinion. For at least the sprint. What about Mercedes?
Mercedes had an okay sprint. Lewis went P6 to P7, so not great. George ran into Max Verstappen. I'm completely willing to admit that was George's fault. I'm not like trying to defend him or anything. I do think Max can chill out a little bit about it, like just as like a
Yeah.
smidge.
I mean, I fully agree that Max is George. I saw an interview with George today actually that he said Max is a very I can give but can't take person, and like he kind of showed it there, and I completely agree with that because I don't know how many times Max has pulled a move like that
I
and
know.
then complained about them. So
So it was basically like right out of the Max Verstappen beginning of career playbook. Like that's exactly how
mhm.
he used to race. And he was like,
I
"You
think
don't need to go."
Russell.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I think Russell did handle it well, a lot better than Max, as we saw in the clip. But sorry, so go ahead.
I was gonna say George is deflecting a little bit. Like George could take a little more ownership. It's kind of funny we're arguing opposite, but like,
Mm.
I think Max, like, I don't know. He was saying you don't need to go for that. You don't need to take these risks. It's like Mercedes needs to take these risks. Like I was 100% like go for it, you know. So I
Yeah,
understand.
I meant like he was not like yeah, he did complain about it later on, but like when Max was in his face and doing all that, like he
Yeah.
wasn't just spouting back at him. He was actually pretty collected at least. But yeah, I mean he did hound him in the interviews.
Yeah. So it was interesting. And then Leclerc finally got me some points here in our competition
yeah.
that I'm totally losing. Leclerc got more points in the sprint race than the rest of the races already combined. He got double pole this weekend, which was crazy. His quality form is insane. And he fought as hard as he possibly could. In my opinion, in both races, I thought Leclerc had a better weekend than I expected. It wasn't the 1.1 second upgrade they were saying, but it was pretty good. So,
I don't think anybody could believe that coming from Ferrari.
how about you tell me about Lando?
It was a rough one, like you said, for Lando.
Yeah.
He kind of got screwed. Ended up P18 for the sprint, so it was rough for Lando, man. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, he's having a time. He's having a time right now.
I mean, I don't know if it's just he's just saying it because he has to, but it was like earlier this week I saw a clip of him saying like he's still like Headstrong believes in McLaren to bring it back for the season. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're one of the few, man.
They looked
You're
better.
one of the few.
They looked better.
No, overall in this weekend, it was a lot better.
Yeah.
It's just, this is like one of those, this is like a Haas delusion syndrome. I feel like they have like a little bit of spark of life and we're like, oh, it can happen.
You know, my mom today was walking by me and goes like, we're watching an interview, Lena North. She goes like, the new Haas. And I was like, hey, it's catching on.
No.
So
that's great.
I know, it's so funny. So Piastri to keep on the McLaren train, he P11 to P10, no points in the sprint. But
yeah.
he finished in the top 10. That's something.
Yeah.
And let's talk about. Give me Alonso. How was Alonso's sprint?
Alonso started what's it called? P8?
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Yeah, P8. And then finished P6. So this weekend was kind of like Alonso's streak breaking of doing well. So or not doing well, but like podium finishes and all that.
Yeah. I agree. Stroll had P9 to P8, so he was the last of the points finishes. I mean, Aston didn't have any significant sprint, I would say. So, yeah, that's about all we can say.
Yeah.
Yuki, let's talk about AlphaTauri. Oh, AlphaTauri had
I want to hear about this.
So, Yuki, here's how to sum it up. The camera cuts away from the race leaders, and we see a tire rolling down. Or like, what? And then the camera pans slowly to see Yuki in the corner. I wish you could have heard his radio. Yuki just in the wall, which caused a safety car to just neutralize the one good race we were having this weekend. So Yuki, P16 to the wall. That was his day, compared to a way better qualifying the day before. So, how was De Vries?
Started P18 and went up to P14 at least. So, I mean, I don't think they can do too much in this AlphaTauri this year.
Mm-mm. Now, like they're getting rid of their team principal. Like there's a lot of stuff going on.
The rebrand.
I mean, I don't know what they need to do, what steps they need to make to make good changes, but I don't know. Their team's just so like in the gray area. I have no idea what's going on over there.
Yeah.
The fact that Yuki is the leader is a problem, though.
No, that's we didn't know how that was going to pan out this season, and
also De Vries walked in wearing a tux, and it turns out he hasn't been wearing pants the whole time. Like that's what he looks like.
What?
De Vries is like the professional on a Zoom call that looks like he's wearing a tux from here down, the shoulders down, and then he stands up and he's not wearing pants. Like that's how his driving is going. That's the best analogy I can come up with.
Oh my, that's great. I love that.
What about Joe? How was Joe's sprint?
It was I mean pretty good for the Alfa Romeo, at least P12. They didn't get points or anything, but you know, they're not P18, so it could be a lot worse. I'm usually from Alfa Romeo, at least at this point now, I'm kind of expecting the back end of the grid. So he at least got to P12 for the sprint. Wasn't bad.
So on both of my race, I put Valtteri Bottas. Was he even there? And he went P15 to P16. We didn't see him one time, I'm pretty sure, on camera. Maybe only in the grand shots of everybody.
No, we saw him at the lights out.
Yeah. That was it. And away he goes. And then the last thing we have left is how was Logan Sargent's sprint? No, he didn't have anything.
I was about to say.
Albon P7, started at P7, great qualifying, went to P9, you know, pretty solid for a Williams. I think we're gonna have to stop saying that, just assume that they're a midfield team at this point. I think we can safely say. I'm interested. I want to see Logan do well at his home race this week, so that's what I'm hoping for.
That'd be amazing.
That's about it. In the race is
we
even
do have
briefer.
Haas.
Oh, Haas. Sorry, I forget.
You can't forget K-Mac,
The old
bro.
Haas. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to talk about with it, but
K-Mac P13 to P11. The end.
yeah, yep. Hulkenberg, what was it? Where'd he start? I think he dropped. He went from P12 to P15. Yeah, so Haas, baby.
The new McLaren? I don't know.
I love that.
America. I'm telling you, Brad Pitt's going to set at least one lap time in one session. That's faster than one of them. It's going to happen.
No, I mean,
listen,
if someone DNFs, he's just going to take over for him in the race.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny. Well, anyway, let's move on to the race. I'll get us started off with Mercedes. So Lewis had a P5 quali. He did okay, but he got screwed by the safety car again. And I was very upset about it. And ultimately he finished P6, and that was, okay, I guess. I mean, pretty good. He seemed very disappointed in it. So, it is what it is. He did finish ahead of Alonso. No, he ended up not finishing ahead of Alonso, which I think is his main competition. So
yeah,
that kind of bums me out. Russell had a terrible qualifying the first day. P11, and then he finished P8. He had the best my favorite radio call of the day, where he goes like, well, that restart was boop. Sorry guys, because he got passed by like 4 people. Lewis owned him in an overtake. I was like, he just took him to school. So yeah, that's it. Give me how did Red Bull go?
Well, the king of the streets is back.
Yeah,
Checo takes it from P3 to P1. Max kind of got screwed by it. Not screwed, but by the team, I think.
Yeah.
Which I trust. I came into this saying I want Checo to win. I'm not saying I'm not happy, but they pitted him the lap before a safety car, and then when Checo pitted under the safety car, he got ahead of Max. So it was a little unfortunate for Max. He still got P2 out of it, but it's a Red Bull 1-2, so that's a victory in my book. And Checo won, so that's an even greater victory. I'm hoping that this is not. I'm hoping that Checo does not only win street races this season. Listen, I want him to be king of the streets and all, but
it would actually. He needs to win a lot of races or only street races, in my opinion, because I need the meme to continue.
Exactly.
Or be totally blown up. So.
Well, overall, great.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just happy. Like he's also leading right now, is he not?
No, he's 6 points behind.
Oh, okay, that's right. I thought I saw something that he was, but
if he wins, if he beats Max, basically, he'll be leading. Mm-hmm. So let's go. Gotcha. I want to see him win. Well, I want to see Lewis win, same. But if not, let's go, Checo.
Yeah,
dude. So at Disney this week, I don't know if Dawson and I were both randomly at Disney this week, and I saw a ton of Checo hats, like probably 20 over my 3 days of being.
Okay, you saw a lot of Red Bull stuff. I saw so much Mercedes and McLaren stuff. I saw this dude that he had like a McLaren like pit backpack. It was like McLaren pit crew 20. I don't know. It was like 2017 or something.
Wow.
I was like, I want to speak to this man. I didn't know if it was real or he just some merch that he picked up somewhere. I had no clue. That's pretty funny.
That is cool. Yeah, I feel like there's a huge, Checo said it today in an interview. He was saying, there's a large Spanish-speaking base down here that he wants to perform well to. So I think it would mean a lot to those fans for him to win this week. So
for sure, for sure.
Anyway, Leclerc kind of already mentioned it. He got P3, but he got pole position, which was awesome. Red Bull ate his lunch a little bit, but he mastered the restart. He did very well, in my opinion, as best he could do, and still got P3 and beat everybody else, which is this year, whoever gets P3 is the champ of the race, in my opinion. So How about Science? How was Science's race?
He finished P5. There's not too much to talk about for Sainz. I'm just happy to see both Ferraris finishing, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to talk about that is related to Science is how Alonso did. Alonso had one of the most freaking nuts overtakes I've ever seen.
Oh,
He like snuck up on him and bang, got him. I bet it blew Sainz's mind. Like
he's behind him, and then it's just like 2 seconds later, he's like, oh.
And he almost got Leclerc. He almost got Leclerc too. Yeah. It was
that would have been crazy. Yeah, well, like I was talking about earlier, Alonso, dude, he was that close, bro, to keeping that streak alive for the podiums. Finished P4, so Aston Martin is cheering, just as much compared to last year in the seasons before. Yeah. So, man, this car is still just, it blows my mind.
Yeah, so they haven't. They're still waiting on their first update package. So we'll see where they end up mid-season. Not sure if they're
P4 without an upgrade isn't bad.
Oh no, should be celebrated.
That's crazy.
I think with an upgrade, they're faster than Ferrari for sure.
Oh yeah.
Mercedes just had kind of an off weekend, in my opinion. I still don't truly know where they're at. This weekend's going to be a good indication of that. So,
were these their only upgrades for a while?
Who
do you know? Mercedes.
No, they only brought a tiny upgrade. Their big package is coming in Imola. They just didn't want to test it at Baku because it was a sprint race weekend, and they didn't want to bring it all the way to the States because they didn't have enough time to switch the car in 7 days.
Yeah, for sure. So I just didn't know if they had any more coming up soon or not.
No, Imola is like the first big switch, like the first big change. I don't know what that is. Cool. That's what they're saying. So
gotcha.
Continuing on, Stroll got P7. Since we're talking about Aston, he got by Russell. That kind of sucked for me. But Stroll had a good race too. Aston's clearly a force to be reckoned with, and they're 11 points ahead of Mercedes. So tight battle still.
Oh, nice.
Let's go to Lando.
Actually, a good turnout compared to the sprint.
Yeah.
He finished P9, so he actually got into the points, which I think is the morale booster that McLaren needs right now, for them to get at least some points.
Yeah, because Piastri finished P11, which I'm sure is the most demoralizing position on the grid. So that wasn't great. Let's talk about Gasly. Gasly had one of the worst freaking weekends I've ever seen. Problem in basically every session. Leaks, crashes, oh my, that's what I wrote. He did P19 in quali, and then P14 finish. I feel so bad for him. Like, Gasly's like, I don't know, man. He's like the prodigal son or something. Like, there's always bad things happening to him. So, but how was Ocon's race?
He finished right behind him in P15. So they're
looking strong.
Yeah, Alpine for the win this season, obviously. I mean, I feel like we're gonna get used to seeing them together in the back or in the back of the midfield.
It's so bad I can't even remember which session, which one finished in the pit lane or started in the pit lane. But speaking of the pit lane, we should talk about the end of the race. Where Ocon drives in because they tried to get for him to go as long as possible, and they had already brought out the P123 things and had all of the photographers blocking his way in, and they nearly all died. Like, that's not an exaggeration. They nearly all died, and he did that so calmly. Like, that was I was impressed with how calm he was. He didn't yell on the radio. Like, it was complete composure. The stewards summoned the race people, the Baku organizers, and this needs to be addressed. They clearly cannot let anybody out until checkered flag, everybody's through, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Even if why does it matter? Delay the podium by 2 minutes. Like, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So, and if Red Bull needed to pit, I don't know if you noticed this, if Red Bull needed to pit, they couldn't have done it. No way. The barriers were blocking him. They just got lucky it was Alpine. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that could have been bad.
Yeah. So, all right, good. Let's get to somebody else. Whoever you want to give.
We can talk about Alpha Tauri's race result
Ah, yes. Okay.
because Nick DeVries DNF.
Tony, good old
He,
tux without the pants. That's what I'm saying.
oh yeah, good. He showed up for a fifth of the race. He hit the wall in lap 10 and just took him out of the race. So not a good weekend for AlphaTauri.
Yeah, Yuki got a point in the race.
Oh, that is true.
So that's not for a bottom 3 team. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
that's fine.
coming out of 2 races with 1 point is not great.
It's rough.
So yeah. What about Sargent? How was his race compared? Because obviously he didn't race in the sprint.
Yeah, well, he actually did get to race. He got P16 though. So yeah, it's compared to Albon, it's a little rough for him.
Well, Albon did P12. They qualified P13, so they're fast, but they're just not. They're deceivingly fast because the straights are like, what is going on in this car?
They're quali fast.
Yeah, they're similar. They're like a midfield Ferrari essentially.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
without reliability issues, which we're giving Ferrari credit for. They haven't suffered any. Well, that's not true. They did the first race, but
I was about to say.
Yeah. Sorry,
don't jinx them too.
I want the Ferrari fans to like us. I think it might be too late for that, but
probably. I think we've done a lot of crap talking on Ferrari in 2 seasons.
Okay, Bottas, was he even there? Bottom feeder, P18.
Yeah.
What about Zhou Guanyu?
He had to retire from the race as well, but his wasn't due to a wreck. His car overheated, and they couldn't figure out a way to fix it while he was driving, so he had to just retire the car, it sucks, man. He was devastated too.
Which I'm sure will go very well in warm Miami this weekend.
Oh man, that's I'm worried for that.
I think we're going to see a lot of stuff. I don't know.
Dude, I'm worried about the drivers because, like, last year they were struggling after the race.
Well, also keep in mind the bouncing was an issue. So I actually rewatched.
Oh, that's true.
The F1 TV Pro does the 30-minute races, so I rewatched Miami today, and even Max's car was bouncing a lot, and they were the ones without quote unquote without the issue. So, and we all know about Lewis.
Speak to my drivers.
Yeah, speak to my drivers. Checo was saying the car is crap. What an incredible. And last, I almost forgot Haas again. P13 for K-Mag.
It's good for Haas.
Yeah,
it's good for Haas. Unlike Hulkenberg.
Yeah, how was Hulkenberg?
We got P17. It's like that's old Haas.
We got new Haas and old Haas.
Yep.
Both not in the points. This is their year. Just remember, every year is that.
Oh yeah.
So overall, I think this race wasn't. They all got stuck in a one-stop strategy, kind of neutralized the race. I think that was the sprint weekend's fault. So I don't think that's going to be a repeat offense. Who is your winner?
Yeah, I'm hoping they change it.
Who is your winner and loser? Yeah, I hope they change it too. At least if they can't figure anything out, go back to the old way until they figure something better out. All right, winner or loser, go ahead.
Every time it happens, I'm going to name him a winner. If Checo wins on a street race,
agreed.
That's obviously going to be my winner. Loser? That's a tough one. I've got so many great picks for that. I'm actually Gasly.
Yeah.
Dude couldn't get a break this weekend.
No.
Every session, like you said, just had something wrong. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Gasly.
I am going to give my winner to Ferrari. I think they just had a little turnaround of a weekend. 2 poles, nothing you can't look away from that, despite a race pace issue. I mean, it's the same as last year, but Red Bull is so far ahead. To catch it, to be able to fight at all, it's pretty good. With only minor updates, it's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
And this still contributes to my theory of this whole wind tunnel time stuff. Will we start seeing an impact with Red Bull having way less? My dad was downstairs complaining about it, like, this wind tunnel time is crap. I was kind of like, I'm okay with it for now.
But then, Mercedes fan is definitely okay with it. But
then when Mercedes wins their next championship, however long that takes, I'll be like, yeah, this wind tunnel time is some crap.
Oh yeah.
You mark my words. Loser, man. I'm just gonna say Alpine. I mean, all of them had a bad weekend. Ocon had trouble at the end of the race. It was just a shambles. But yeah, I mean that's basically it. Well, this one's a little shorter, which I have a lot of stuff coming out this week. Any predictions, feelings about this race? Do you think Checo's gonna win?
I don't know. It's
see.
always hard. I mean, it's been back and forth. So who knows if we keep it up with how it's been? Max is winning this one, but
yeah, I want to see a bloodbath at this race. Like I want to see honestly, maybe they'll hit each other. That would be great.
Don't you dare put that on me.
And then Lewis will win, and I will cry probably.
Oh, dude, no, you actually would, I believe.
I mean, I almost did when Russell won.
If you see it in person too, you're 100% crying.
And he'll be the first person to win over 300 races. Anyway,
Nick's gonna be that crazy fan to go sprint onto the paddock.
Don't forget, I'm sitting in the Red Bull fan section too. Don't forget that. So I'm gonna go at all of them. So that's been it. Watch all of the stuff on TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff at the Pitwall Pod. I'm sure I'm gonna be posting like a madman live at the race.
Oh yeah.
And check back here. I'll have all my insights of that. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.